Welcome to Synthetic Oil Protection. I'm your host Eben, and well, we're back with the 2013 SL550. This is my personal car, and I only put the best of the best on my vehicles. My last Corvette, I had the K&N air filter, which was made by Airade. It's like a knockoff of K&N. They're both very good, so definitely look into those for your vehicle. I know I have a lot of subscribers on the channel. They're always asking me these questions. Airade and K&N are my favorites. Well, this is a factory replacement, so today we're going to be installing these filters. This filter right here is right here on that side, and this filter right here is on this side. So what we're going to be replacing is the man air filter. The OEM air filters are good on these cars, but they're not as good as the K&N. The K&N is oiled. The oil traps very fine particles and dust. It's very dusty here in Nevada where I live. And then you have a bump in CFM. That's basically your flow rate. So that's your standard OEM filter, and that's the K&N. So you'll see there's about a 15 to 25% difference in airflow. And a little note on this Lexus, I have one on that car. That's a friend's car. That car gets, I think, 0.9 average mile a gallon better with the filter, and that has the factory replacement filter. So I want to let you know it is a real world difference. It's not just in your head. It does make a big difference. And on my Corvette, it did, I think, 1.9 miles a gallon difference. And I had a C5 Corvette, and basically it was about 3 times bigger than this, and it went right up here in the nose, and it got lots of air. So enough talk about the filter and how great it is. Let's install it. We're also going to be using a little silicone spray too. All right. Let's kick it off. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is pop off these panels. All these little plastics just pop right off. I think this one here. Just be careful. Let's see. And then this here should just pop right off. Let's see. Like that. Off, give you a little light here. So you're gonna see this little teeny wire. This was plugged right inside here. That's a sensor right there for the airflow. So all you do is take a little flathead, and you're gonna go ahead and push this clip back right here. Push that clip back, and then this will push straight off. And now that's not attached. So now this whole thing should wiggle. This just basically pressure fits in. So you just give it a little wiggle, and it should pop right up. Now this whole thing's loose. Now all we do is undo it right here. And now one thing that's really good for getting this off and keeping your plastics moist is this silicone spray. So everything on this car is basically plastic, and over time heat and everything breaks everything down. It cracks, it'll warp and all different things, but you can actually slow that process. And I'll show you something that's really good to do. You're gonna see this rubber here, and this stuff is compatible with plastic, rubber, all your door trims, everything gets sprayed with this. But I want to show you, this is actually my favorite AMSOIL product. It's called Silicone Spray, and it's my favorite aerosol that AMSOIL puts out. And I'm going to show you what this looks like here. So we're going to come here. You'll see this trim. This is in good shape, but it's not as colorful as it could be. So watch this. So all your plastics, all these hoses, all this plastic here can get wiped with this silicone. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna open our books. Now what this is, it's like a special star key. So this is a Torx 25, that's the size of it. And it goes right here, you got 4 bolts. So all we do is just undo them. And be very careful with these. These are very delicate little bolts. And we'll just to show you that you actually don't even need to take these screws out. They can actually stay inside this plastic piece. And this just wiggles right apart. So there's the inside, nice and clean. Make sure that's nice and clean in there. And then this air filter was just changed probably a couple thousand miles ago. Now you're gonna get a kick out of how different these filters are. It's quite a bit of a difference. So we're gonna peel this out. It just peels right out like this. Oh my God. And there goes all the dust. Wow. That's a lot more bugs and stuff than I thought. So out here in Nevada, I'm going to actually change this filter every, let's call it 8,000 miles. I'm going to actually square. So you want to be very careful with it. Go slow and slowly massage it in until it seats all the way in, and it'll be nice and flat. Take your time. All right, it's looking pretty good. So I'll show you what it looks like. Pretty flat. There's a little bit of a bubble. There we go. So I just wanted to show you, when this is dialed in right, how square this is. And it doesn't take much pressure at all to fasten it. So I actually didn't even use the tool to tighten it. All I did was just come here and just do it by hand. And that's it, tight. Because all you're doing is you're pinching that silicone, and that silicone is super thick and super soft. But first, before we reinstall it, I want to show you how I like to hit the rubbers and all your plastics. This is super good for electronic hoses, wires. Just don't spray it right into the connection. But I love this for keeping stuff moist and from cracking. So I'm going to hit like these plastic hoses right here. Go like that. Go right here. Right on the boot. Keep that nice and moist. On this plastic, all plastic. And it makes it so stuff doesn't stick to everything. It makes it kind of softer. It's not as easy to scratch, you could say. And I just love the silicone spray. So what I'm going to do is, not only am I going to hit all these trims, I'm actually going to go back, hit all of this. I'm going to hit the front here. I'm going to hit all these weather strips up here, all the way up into the door, all the folding mechanisms on this car, inside the door panels, all of this, all the way down into here in the trims, underneath here. And basically what you're doing is you're keeping all this stuff moist, and the moisture you keep it, it's never going to crack. You're never going to have dust that comes through. Also the trunk right here. I'm going to hit all these rubbers and plastics in here. This little rubber thing in the back. I'm going to hit all this up here, all the way down into the folding mechanisms. This is a fold out. When the top goes down, I'm going to hit all this in here with silicone. Important, before I put this on, these grommets right here and this basically fit into this right here. So I wanted to show you a good area to hit right here. Hit that with silicone, that little rubber, and that little rubber. And what that's going to do is that's going to keep it nice and moist and keep it from cracking with all this heat in here. All right, we got the left bank done. And one more thing with this filter, if you're new to the channel, definitely subscribe. We're going to be doing a lot of fluids on this car. We did the motor oil, we did the engine flush, we did the rear diff, we did the transmission, the coolant. So definitely check out those videos on this car. But I wanted to mention this. The only thing you have to make sure is you only oil the intake side of the filter. So you do not oil both sides of the filter when you go to clean it. And this is the recharge kit. And when you do it, you don't apply it so it's super red. You want to do it lighter. You're better off being lighter than super thick and dark, because what can happen is, you'll know a lot of people, they go, oh, well, I wrecked my motor, or I did this and that. Well, it's because they didn't use it right. So what happened was they oversaturated the filter. The oil went through and it went into the mass airflow sensor. Once you get that oil on there, you're going to mess with the car. It's not going to run right. You're going to have to clean everything. It's going to be a total disaster. Don't do that. Read the instructions, use it right, and that's it. All right, before we go ripping around the block, I want to show you what it looks like. So we got our panels we took off. Now this is what we look like, all siliconed. So this is what all our rubbers and plastics look like. And this is how I maintain all my vehicles. I keep all the plastics nice and shiny. All the way up into here, all your rubbers, your windshield wipers, everything has that beautiful dark gloss. And this will actually last longer. It won't crack. And it's just so much better for it. And that's the level that I keep my own personal vehicles. So let's go shred around the block. One more subtlety I always like to do after doing something like this. I always like to reset the computer and just take the battery off. So all you do is loosen this up. Got our little 10mm socket. Took out the trunk tray. It's real easy, just pops right out. You got your battery back here for your weight distribution. Just give a little wiggle. And that's it. The car's turned off. We'll let it sit for a minute. All the lights went out. And now we'll go ahead and plug her in. And it's time to go rip around the block. Got a charged battery light. When I unplug the battery and plugged it back in, I'm assuming it does that for probably like a half hour or something, just when it resets. So we're gonna go ahead and get this dialed in here. And it's time to go rip. Beautiful. All right, so we'll give you some driving impressions and how she feels. If it feels any different than before, let's take a look. So I've had the car now for about 2,000 miles and feels good, but I know it's got a lot more in it to really run a lot better. So way better. So we did the engine flush, we got that done. We did the PI performance improver, gasoline additive. We cleaned the injectors, the valves, and we did the rear diff. So that now the diff has more film strength in there. And now we got the K&N air filter. So we'll see if it feels any different. So it's a gorgeous day here in Las Vegas today. It's 93 degrees out, and which is very cool for here. Usually it's about 103 right now. So it's about 10 degrees below average. And we are going to see what this thing feels like. I mean, it's feeling really good. The only thing is it's got some hard 500 tread wear tires, so you can only put down about, I'd say 78% of the torque, because there's a lot of dust out here. But we'll see what we feel here, and we'll see if there's any difference. But yeah, loving the car and looking forward to doing a lot more videos. So if you're new to the channel, definitely subscribe, tap that notification bell. Remember to come back and leave a comment. Ask me a question about anything, and I randomly select people who leave comments for my end-of-month giveaway. We give away hundreds and hundreds of dollars of gift cards. So let's see what we got. Ooh. Wow. That was a lot more responsive just coming out of that. It kind of checkered a little bit. Wow. That was impressive. Feeling good. So we'll do some sport mode, and let's see what we got here. Do a little sport mode action. Oh shit! Wow! It just blows the tires right out like nothing at half throttle. Wow! That's a lot more responsive now. Holy cow! Pulling hard. Yeah, with this temperature and the dust, it'll never put down the power. But hey, I really appreciate you coming to my channel, checking it out. And if you ever have any questions, let me know. Check out this playlist right here on all the fluid changes on this vehicle. And we're going to be following up showing the performance levels of this vehicle. We're going to be doing stuff to protect these shocks, the air ride suspension. We're going to be showing you the tires we're going to do. So we're going to do a lot of preventative maintenance stuff on this car to take the quality to the next level. So we'll see you back next time right here on Synthetic Oil Protection. Cheers to protection, protection, protection.